I'd like to call the meeting to order for Tuesday night, February 20th, 2024. Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alderman Ricky Hammond will lead us in prayer.
Let us pray. Father God, thank you for your mercy, your grace. Father, thank you for this beautiful weather today. Father, thank you for this board. Father, let us never forget we not only serve the people, Father, but we serve you in every decision that comes before us. We ask you to build your hedge, Father, around the folks that are in harm's way, around our caregivers and our sick. We ask all these things in your precious Son, Jesus Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, roll call. Please show all present here tonight. We have a quorum and can conduct business. Public comment. Nobody signed up for public comment. Next item on the agenda, approval of minutes from February 5th, 2024. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes from that meeting. A motion from Rick Crawford. Is there a second? Second from James Baltimore. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, unfinished business. Allison put two things on our desk before the meeting started. I'm going to ask Tiffany to come up front. This has to do with grants and applications. Mr. Baltimore. So the first one, City of Dyersburg authorizing resolution 02202024. Tiffany?
The first resolution is to approve a loan increase from our Clean Water State Revolving Loan Fund loan. We were previously awarded an $8 million loan with a 20% loan forgiveness, and because of the volatility in the construction market, the project, all of the projects that we have bid so far have gone over budget, which I think we probably expected since our budget was from 2021 when we began finalizing this particular loan. And so this is for the sewer rehab work that we've been doing. We have done quite a bit of the work. We've completed or awarded $6.8 million in funding so far, and all but $1 million of that is actually complete. We have two more phases of the project, which would be the lining of the pipes, which is the most important part, and then the rehab of the manholes in the city. So we went back to TDEC and asked for an additional $2.5 million in loan money, and that was awarded to us, and we were very pleased to find out that because of our ability to pay index, that they are actually giving us 50% loan forgiveness on this increase in our loan. So we asked for $2.5 million, we were given that, and then they're gonna forgive half of that. So we're actually only going to increase our amount by 1.25. That takes our total overall loan amount to about 10.5 million, just under that. And we did originally ask for 10 million, scaled it back to 8, and so now we're basically going back up to 10.5. But we have 20% loan forgiveness on the 8 million, and we have 50% loan forgiveness on the 2.5. So we end up with a total loan balance of under $8 million. So that's pretty good. So that the first resolution is authorizing us to move forward with this additional $2.5 million in loan, and it does stipulate the 50% loan forgiveness in this document, so it's guaranteed.
So this was originally, we started in 2020. I guess we went up to Nashville and met with TDEC about all of this. So that's why it's under the unfinished business, and when they're going to reduce that by 50%, we thought it was necessary to get this done and get it approved and bring it before the board. Is there any questions? Let me take a motion first to approve this. I'd entertain a motion to approve this.
Motion.
A motion from Ricky Hammond, second from Vanetta. Is that Vanetta? All right, any questions about this?
Are we going to be out of pocket money on this, or just?
We will, yes, sir. We'll have to pay, but we've got money budgeted for that. We have done that in previous years in our budget. Yes, sir. But we talked to Steve Anderson. Our ability to pay this off is not, the additional money is not compromised. So, yes, we're in good shape.
There's no rate increase. There's no rate.
There's there's no rate increase associated with this. And, the SRF program does give us remarkably low interest rates, so it's normally a good loan.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. The next item here, Resolution 02202024A, resolution for the approval of application to Tennessee Department of Transportation 2024 Transportation Planning Grant Long Range Transportation Plan Update. We have submitted this already. We have submitted that to the state, and they contacted us, and we were not really aware that we had to have a resolution from the board to do that. We didn't set any of the documents, may have overlooked it, but it's a planning program. Tiffany, you want to speak to that a little bit?
So yes, this is a TDOT program. It is a 10% match, so it's ends up being a $222,000 project. TDOT puts in $200,000. We would put in the $22,000. And we are allowed to apply for the grant to support any type of transportation planning. Our ask was for us to update our long-range transportation plan. It has not been updated, and it's been 15 years plus since our long-range transportation plan has been updated in the city of Dyersburg. It is a plan that we are required to have in order to get TDOT funding, and so it is probably time for us to update it, and we thought the best way to update that was by paying 10% of the cost of the update. We did ask for the full grant amount, but we don't have to spend that full grant amount. We certainly don't have to accept that full grant amount, but this early in the process, when we're just starting out on the project, we weren't exactly sure what that budget was gonna be, so we went ahead and asked for the full amount. So this resolution is basically just authorizing us to apply for the grant, and if awarded, for the mayor to say that we will pay the match money.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve this.
So move.
Motion from Dennis Moody, second. Second from Rick Crawford. Any questions about this? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Tiffany. Appreciate it. All right, number 8, under new business, notice of public hearing that will be held on March 4, 2024. This is a state requirement that we update or adopt the 2021 edition of International Residential Code and 2018 edition of International Energy Conservation Code. This is just a notice of public hearing. The actual hearing will be held on March 4th. Thomas Mullins will be here to discuss this. I'd entertain a motion for this notice of public hearing to be held on March 4th. A motion from James Baltimore. Is there a second? Second from Coach Cole. Any discussion about this? All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. All right, Chloe, you're up next. So City of Dyersburg audit report for the year ending June 30th, 2023, Ms. Chloe Humphrey. And then your audit books were here last week, and I think each one of you got a copy of that. So Chloe, go ahead.
Hey, it's really good to be back with y'all tonight. I trust that you all do have copies of the audit report with you, and that you've had time to read it from cover to cover, I'm sure. I've got here with me tonight Ms. Sarah Jane Kendall. She's one of the staff members and a CPA on our staff, and has played an instrumental part in the writing of this report and the field work that takes place. I would like to recognize my team. We have a great team that comes from all over West Tennessee to come do the field work at this audit, and we had another great year. We had a year full of where we had 12 months of the new software at the city, and that proved we had great reports. Just a lot of well, we had to navigate that the year before, so this year it was a lot cleaner and easier on us too, and the staff. The staff have been very responsive to us. We felt like they were, when we were on site, they were dedicated to making sure we have what we need. I'm not gonna lie, it's a personal goal of mine to get this audit report issued by 12/31 before I retire. So we are trying really hard. It's still a collaborative effort. We did meet our deadline from last year. We were able to submit by January the 31st. So that's something that we look forward to and strive toward, and I think it's within our reach. We've got planning meetings scheduled this summer to find out, where the disconnects are, if there's anything we can tighten up to go ahead and get this report to the state by the 12/31 deadline. So I'm going to just reference a couple of things in the report. I'm going to have you turn to the first page of the management's discussion and analysis, page 6. I usually tell y'all this, and I want to say it again, this management discussion and analysis portion is if you're going to spend any time in this report, spend it here. It's a good comparison from prior year to current year and just gives you a good quick snapshot of what these financials entail. So some of the financial highlights include that the net position of the city is $138 million, and of this amount, $27 million of it is unrestricted and can be used to meet financial demands of the city. They're not committed to any other source. The city's net position this year increased by $7.6 million. This includes governmental activities and business type activities. Governmental fund, so just governmental fund activities, increased by $4 million. Now, all these things are, they're aggregated numbers, all the funds are included, they're adjusted for government-wide numbers, they're not what you're used to seeing on the budgets, okay? On page 10, you've got a, 9 and 10, there's a statement of comparisons. That's what I wanted to point out to you. The net position is compared between 2023 and 2022, and then the changes in net position. So the overall revenues and net income of the city are on page 10. Okay. This year, we were able to report that everything was spent under budget. So we didn't have any overages this year. That was something that we had in the past couple of years due to the internal service funds. But those allocations have been tightened up some. We were able to get the journal entries in, and I think that's something that we fixed going forward. But you know, along with Steve and his efforts. I do want to tell you that on page 134, there is a schedule of changes in long-term debt. This is a schedule of all of the city's outstanding loans and a roll forward between 2022 and 2023. You can see that we picked up an additional $91,000 in new loans and paid off $1.8 million. So we've seen a significant reduction in the debt this year. Also going to direct you to page 142. That's your schedule of federal and state awards. This is just a good picture of what the city is receiving from both federal granting agencies, either directly or through pass-throughs, and state. So I just think it's a good source for you guys to digest some of this information to see what the city actually got in grant money and what they spent. Okay, and then at the very end of the report, in the last pages, I do want to report that this year, I think it's the first year that I've been here that we have not had any findings related to the school system, the electric system, or the city. So that's a huge accomplishment, and I know that the city's worked really hard. I appreciate the attention to the financial reporting and the commitment that they have their city staff has to clarity and making sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. So I'm happy to take questions. I may not know them off the top of my head, but I will find out if I don't, so.
All right, thank you, Chloe. Any questions of Chloe with the audit? So no findings for the city of Dyersburg, obviously Dyersburg Electric and Dyersburg City Schools. So all of those are combined in our budget book from Dyersburg Electric, Dyersburg City Schools, and from the city of Dyersburg before we can submit it to the state. So we work hard with those folks as well to try to get those in a timely manner. So any questions about any of this?
This is the first year you never had any findings?
It's the first year I've been here that I know.
For all three?
For all three.
No, sir, we've had no findings before.
Yes.
Yes, sir. In fact, last year we had one. I think previous 2 years, we had none, I think.
Chloe, on page 119, we're good with the pension plan, right?
Yes, sir. And we,
Everything what the actuary says.
let me get out there that schedule. Yes, so we are contributing what the actuarially determined contribution is. We worked quite a bit with the state because of the city's, the way the city has their pension plan, and it's not part of the TCRS. That's just a different way of reporting. But we worked closely with the state and the Treasury Department to be sure that this schedule was exactly what they wanted, and we took some extra measures this year. Because there was a couple of things last year that they commented on in their review of our report, and we wanted to get that tightened up. So with Steve's collaborative effort, I think we've done that. And yes, you can see that what we actually contributed is 1.7 million, and their actuarially determined contribution was right below that, 1.6. So, or 1.72, it's the same number.
So you can see from 2015, when the state passed the defined pension benefit plan, right? 15.04%, the bottom line there was the contributions as a percentage of the covered employee payroll. Obviously, we all know what we went through with that, but so you go on up 15, 16, 17, to this past audit, 41.69% of the covered employee payroll. So that percentage has increased significantly.
Yes, and held steady for the last, 4 years for
Right.
sure, so.
Any other questions?
You good? Okay, good.
Anybody else? All right, thank you, Chloe. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda, Tiffany Hurd, City of Dyersburg Engineer, Project Update. Tiffany?
I just wanted to give you all an update on a lot of the things that we talked about last year, and then let you know about some of the new things that we have going on. As we wrap up a project, we pick up like 4 more at this point. So we have lots of stuff going on. I'm going to go in the order that I went last year. That way, if you have your notes, like you can just check off all the stuff that we've done. We talked about 2 big water projects last year. It was the new booster pump station at the Fort Hudson water storage tank, and the purpose of that project was to separate the 2 pressure zones. We were having a lot of issues between the North Industrial Park and the South Industrial Park, so we installed a new booster pump station at that Fort Hudson tank, and it's going to allow us to separate those 2 pressure zones and provide consistent fire service to both of the industrial parks without overpressurizing anybody's domestic lines. So that project is complete. The booster pump station is installed. We are waiting for the manufacturer to come back on March 5th to do some final programming tweaks to make sure that it's operating exactly as it was designed. They did confirm this morning that they would be here on March 5th, so that project should be 100% done and working by March 5th. Well number 11, we did replace well number 11, and that project is complete and functioning well. Again, we had some programming things that had to be tweaked after that project was complete, but it looks like we've got that under control. And the new well number 11, which will now be well number 13, is functioning, and we're really excited to have a more consistent water supply at the Roger Hawkins water treatment plant. We have more water stuff to talk about later. We talked last year about the landfill and how we were about to undertake a major modification to our permit. That has been moving forward. There were 2 issues that we needed to address. One was modifying our slopes on the landfill, and the other one was getting the new section of the landfill permitted and designed. So we are on schedule to have that design complete and that major modification submitted by May 30th. That is the end of the Solid Waste Division's year. So all of our annual reports are due on May 30th, and that is when we have committed to having the major modification submitted. That has gone pretty well. We looked at preliminary plans with Greg Wilson, and Scott and I all looked at some preliminary plans and some ideas from the consultant who is designing that expansion. And, there were no big surprises, so that's exciting. They're going to refly the entire landfill and get updated survey data. We have been flying just the active cell, but they're gonna fly the entire property so we can get some updated topo on that. And that They set the benchmarks for that last week, and so that survey should be coming up in the next 30 days or so. But moving forward, and that is exciting. The other thing that we talked about that was pretty exciting was it wasn't exciting, it was busy. We were going through a PAL program with FEMA and with the Corps of Engineers. So they had come in and said that our levees were not accredited, and so they were going to return some of our the areas of Dyersburg to the 100-year flood zone, which was going to require flood insurance. And so we had gone through some negotiations and entered into what they call a PAL program, which is a provisionally accredited levee. Part of that is that we paid the Corps of Engineers to come in and evaluate and certify our levees. And it was a very educational process, and it took a very long time, but I think we're all proud to say that our levees did get the stamp of approval from the Corps of Engineers in August, and that triggered the final review of our PAL. So the Corps accredited our levees or certified our levees, and then we had previously submitted to FEMA updated O&M manuals, a new emergency response plan for flood, and which was actually an amendment to the county's emergency plan. And then we had to submit what we call an interior drainage study. So the interior drainage study is not something that FEMA evaluates, but we have to show them a study that evaluates how the inside of our city would react in a 100-year storm if the river was up. So we submitted all of that back to FEMA actually in March, because our PAL was supposed to have expired March 30th. So we submitted everything that we could submit, and we were still waiting on the accreditation of our levees from the Corps, and but we wanted all of our stuff to be submitted on time, and it was. And then FEMA waited until the Corps of Engineers accredited our levees in August to look at that. And then it turns out they started looking at all of the data we had submitted to them about 3 weeks ago. So today, ironically, we got comments back from FEMA on our interior drainage study. So we have a few things that we're going to address for them, and then we are optimistic that we are going to have our PAL released, and our levee systems will be fully accredited. We will get new flood maps again for maybe the 5th time in the last 2 years. But all of those areas of concern are going to be removed from the 100-year flood. They are provisionally removed right now, but they will be permanently removed from the flood. So we're very excited about that, and we had hoped to have the Corps here tonight. They're going to come later and talk to you a little bit about what they did and their findings, but I'm going to go ahead and brag on us, because the Reagan levee was rated a level 4 levee, which is very, very good. And the Bruce levee was actually rated a level 5 levee. And it is the only level 5 certified levee in the state of Tennessee. And we have not independently confirmed, but they did say that it might be the only level 5 levee in this entire FEMA region. So it was a very big deal to find out that we are taking such good care of our levees, and they were so well constructed that they are 2 of the best levees in the entire FEMA Region 4 system. So we were really excited and proud of that.
Let me say one thing, Tiffany. So I don't know that people really realize what a big deal this is. So we started this journey probably 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and it's been a labor of love, to say the least. But anyway, so the Corps built the levees. The city of Dyersburg owns them. We maintain them. They're inspected every year. We've gotten acceptable inspections every year. And then, of course, the rules changed and FEMA came here. But, you know, what they were talking about was everybody lived on the east side of Dyersburg and the west side of Dyersburg, a lot of downtown over here, man, all the way up Lake Road, up Finley. So, man, it encompassed a lot of area in our community that would have had to have flood insurance, okay? West side, east side, a lot of downtown businesses, housing projects, things like that. So, and I don't even know if this board was in place then. I can't remember, it's been so long ago. But anyway, we started that process, and through the help of the Corps and Nick and the folks there and Donnie Davison here in Dyersburg, and they came out with their team and did everything and have been very beneficial and very helpful to us getting through this process, as well as Tiffany and Scott both. But we were very pleased to get the accreditation, and Nick will be here hopefully soon to kind of talk about it and get in the weeds, I guess, if you want to know about levees and flooding and all that. But It saved people a lot of money, absolutely a lot of money, certainly did. And I just want to thank the Corps and Scott and Tiffany for doing all they did to make this happen. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
It was a very cool process. We actually took our levies to the National Flood Board within the Corps of Engineers and defended their honor, and they were very complimentary of our projects, of our manuals, of all the work that we had done, and we were really grateful to have such great support from the Memphis District of the Corps of Engineers. They really carried this the whole way. We just showed up periodically and said, we're killing it, we're doing a great job. So we're excited about that, and there will be more to come on that because the Corps is really proud, FEMA was really proud, the state, TEMA was really excited. Everybody was like, I can't believe we have a level 5 levy, that's amazing. And so we're gonna brag on that some more for sure coming up. The other things that we talked about was the State Industrial Access Grant. And I think at that point, we just thought we were gonna get the SIA grant, which is gonna realign Fort Hudson Road. It's not called Fort Hudson down there, is it? Okay. And then widen the bridge that goes over 155 and serves NSK and AA and that part of our North Industrial Park. And so we actually did get the grant to move forward with the design and the purchase of the right-of-way. And the right-of-way is a 50-50 grant, but the design money is 80-20. So that has been approved, and TDOT actually mobilized. They have selected the engineer and the surveyor, and they met on site 2 weeks ago to kick off the project. So they're moving that along pretty quickly, which we're always excited about with TDOT projects. So that is exciting. We've got that. And then should we get another industrial prospect, then we will use that new industrial prospect, those jobs, that investment to justify the construction money. So they used NSK, their last expansion, and Devile's construction to sort of justify this first investment. But another company coming out there would definitely justify this, the further investment and improving that. And it's going to really make a difference for traffic that is coming onto and off of the North Industrial Park. So that's super exciting. We had a site development grant that we talked about. The utilities have been installed. This is for our new certified site at the North Industrial Park. The utilities have been installed. That is done. The site work has been complete, and that's really great. And then we found out last month that we got a $5 million loan to construct the spec building. So we're really excited that ECD is continuing to make investments in our certified site, and we look forward to that moving forward. The repaving project for downtown is still moving along at the pace that it was moving along before. This is the money that we get allotted every year from TDOT. We call it the State Transportation Block Grant. It's not really a grant, it's our money, but we do have to go through the LPA process to use it. So what we have figured out that's working really well for us is that we are picking a project that is way over a single year's budget, and every year as you get more money put into your pot, they're able to just obligate that to the project that you have underway. And so luckily we started this 3 years ago, and I think by the time construction's complete, we're gonna have 5 or 6 years worth of STBG money in the pot, and that will pay for the whole downtown paving project that we have underway. So we did get the NEPA approval. That's exciting. We have submitted all of the preliminary engineering. There is no right-of-way, but you still technically have to submit a document that says there's no right-of-way. So both of those have been approved. So I do think that that will start moving along more quickly, and we're excited for that. The multimodal access grant is still happening, I promise. We are still putting in a multi-use path down South Main. That has also been a little bit slow going, but that is waiting on one little piece of information for the NEPA approval to happen. And then there is a right-of-way phase for that because there's a portion of the trail that is going to be on the city of Dyersburg's property at the soccer complex. So even though we are going to donate that right-of-way and there won't be any protest or anything for it, we have to go through the right-of-way process, and that is going to take a couple of months. But the money is there, it's obligated, the project is moving, and we are doing everything we can to move it along faster. Okay, the recreational trails program, That, we were awarded that grant. It's part of the LPRF program, the Local Parks and Rec Foundation grant. That is a program that comes through TDEC. We got this Recreational Trails Program grant, which was awesome. It's 80/20, which is great. And the bathroom facility at the Forked River Park is designed. It has been submitted to the state for approval to move forward with bidding. And then we will have the Jenny Bell Trail, the trailhead at the other end of Reagan Levee, not at the Forked River Park, but on Reagan Levee Road, and then the overlook that will be installed sort of south of the Farmers Market building. So all of that is funded, and it is moving through that grant process, but the bathrooms have been designed, and they are just waiting a thumbs up from the from LPRF to bid that job. So that is great. The CDBG, so this is for the gym, and we expect that to go out to bid in March. And I haven't been super involved in this one, so if you have lots of questions about the gym at Future City, you probably have to ask Scott. But those designs have been approved. That CDBG project has, the project manuals have been approved, and we expect that to go to bid in March. So that is gonna be really exciting for Future City. And then our ARPA non-competitive projects were an updated water model for the city that is done. The Forked River Park, we have a green infrastructure parking lot going in where that building is currently. And that project was approved last week by TDEC, so that will be going out to bid any second. And then the new well that will replace well number 6, which will become well number 14, that is for the downtown water treatment plant. And so that project has been submitted to TDEC, and we are waiting on approval for that one. It will go to bid. And then the last project for our ARPA non-competitive dollars is the plant improvements at the downtown water treatment plant and at Roger Hawkins. So we have lots of actuators, replacing filter media, doing a lot of this sort of long-term maintenance issues, some things that are not working like they should be. We have a claricone that leaks at the downtown water treatment plant, if you've ever walked by there and seen water coming out of the bottom of our clarifier. So, and then it's an upgrade to all of our controls and our computers and the automation, the systems that operate both of our plants. So all of that is getting overhauled. That will be the last project to go, and it is expected to bid in June. We talked about the SRF project, so that's been going well. We've got $6.8 million of that awarded. We will advertise the CIPP work next. The manhole rehab will go last, so we expect the CIPP to go out for bid this spring. And then we won an ARPA competitive grant to do some bank stabilization along our sewer line. So there were 4 areas in the city where the sewer was starting to get exposed because of erosion of a ditch. And so we won a competitive grant from TDEC with ARPA funds to come in and do some bank stabilization work at 4 locations along our sewer line. So we expect to get the contract back from TDEC in the next 30 days, and then that will have to move really quickly to get that work done. It does have to be under contract by the end of this year. Nobody has their contract yet for any ARPA competitive grant, so it's not just us. They have not issued them to anybody, so there will be, 5 minutes of fury at the end of this year as we all try to get these projects out to bid. We also won a tourism enhancement grant to make improvements, to build actually an indoor-outdoor stage at the farmers market. So the chamber has gotten a couple of grants, and the city won a tourism enhancement grant. That's a 70-30. We asked for $100,000, so the chamber is going to put in the match, which is $30,000, and use that to construct an indoor-outdoor stage on one end of the farmers market building, which is going to be really neat. And then we have a lot of grant applications already submitted. We have submitted for the lead service line inventory grant. That's a $250,000 grant from TDEC that will allow us to complete an inventory of all lead service lines in the city of Dyersburg's water system. That is due in October. So that is a 90-10 grant, and we feel pretty good about getting that grant and then quickly turning around that inventory and submitting it in October. We submitted on a broadband grant, which is a pretty cool project. It was a $2 million grant that we submitted to ECD, and it would actually renovate the farmers market building and turn it into a broadband hub. So it would have free high-speed internet, Wi-Fi, and we would have a lot of programming that goes on in there that is tied back to giving people access to high-speed internet. And then it would also allow us to make some much-needed improvements to the farmer's market building. So we've gotten really good feedback and think that we have a good chance of winning that grant as well. And that would be pretty amazing to put $2 million into the farmer's market building. We are going to submit another LPRF grant application because our last grant was recreational trails. We are allowed to have that grant open and still submit on an LPRF grant. So the LPRF is 50-50, but it can be used for basically anything that's park related. So we have a list of projects that we are considering for that. We're gonna just submit a letter of intent at the end of this week that says, hey, we're gonna submit an application, but we don't have to really say what all our application will entail. And then we are discussing submitting another SRF application for water and sewer. Right now, the governor and TDEC have set aside about $28 million to subsidize SRF loans. And because of our ability to pay index, that 50% loan forgiveness that we just got on our increase is actually available to us for any SRF application that we submit this year. So it really, after hearing that, we took a step back and said, okay, well, you know, we don't use SRF for much, but if they're gonna give us 50% loan forgiveness, which is basically half off of our projects, then what else do we need to do in the next couple of years that we need to be considering getting into this SRF program? The maximum forgiveness you can get is $5 million, so we could basically do $10 million worth of needed improvements to our water and sewer plants and pay half. So that's kind of a deal that we can't pass up, especially the interest rates are under 1%. The fees are not bad at all. I feel like we have a good rhythm with that program now that we've been sort of slogging through it for the last couple of years. So we are expecting to at least submit a request for ranking form, which, like that letter of intent, is basically us just saying, hey, we're probably going to submit. We have some projects. We don't have to commit to anything, but it allows us to get in line for that funding. And then the TDOT planning grant that we submitted. So, you know, we have a new planner in the city of Dyersburg. We hired him at my firm at SSR a couple of months ago, and he has really hit the ground running and has a lot going on. We're looking at the subdivision manuals. He's looking at our zoning ordinances. He looked at our long-range transportation plan. He frankly found some documents that I'm not sure that we knew that we even had, which was great. So I think that you'll be hearing a lot more. Joran Donovan is his name, and I think that you'll all be hearing a lot more from Joran in the next year or two as he sort of dives in to all of our data and brings everything current. A lot of our stuff hasn't been updated in a while. We have made a lot of amendments to our zoning ordinance, and so it's a little bit of a Frankenstein ordinance, and I think kind of taking all of the things that we've done and turning it into something that's new and current and clean is really important. And so those are some other things that you'll see happening in the next year that I think are going to be really, really exciting. So that's all I have on my list. Does anybody have?
You repeat that.
I also talk really fast when I'm nervous, so, I mean, and I swore I'd be more brief this year than I was last year. I'm not sure I was.
I'd like to say this, you all have really done a lot of work.
Thank you.
Appreciate the job that you do. You're really worth the money.
Well, we've been really fortunate. I think we have done a good job of being good stewards of the state's money and of the federal government's money, and in turn, they have started to basically give us grants for anything that we ask for. So it has kept us really, really busy. I don't know, we don't get turned down for grant money very often from the state or the federal government. So we're trying to take advantage of everything that's out there while it's out there.
And that floodplain, that floodway, I really appreciate that because a lot of those people in my district,
That's right.
and you know, we really need that.
Yeah. Well, that one was easy because we were fighting a good fight.
I think we kind of totaled up the amount of grants we received in the past 18 years. I think it's about $57 million that the city of Dyersburg has received the past 18 years to make improvements for our community and our citizens and improve our quality of life. And we always are on the lookout for those things. And, you know, with Scott and Tiffany, Steve, and all the department heads involved with that, it's really worked out well. And I think we got a good reputation at the state and federal government, and that really helps as well. So any questions of Tiffany? Anything? All right, thank you, Tiffany. Appreciate the update. Thank you for all the good work. All right, next item on the agenda, Finance Committee meeting minutes, February 13th, 2024. Chairman Edward Burks.
The Finance Committee met Tuesday, February the 13th at 4 o'clock. Committee members present, Burks, Moody, Mayor Holden, others attending, Steve Anderson, Treasurer, Scott Ball, Recorder, Alderman Ricky Hammond and Alderman Crawford, Whip Maloney by phone, and William Northcutt with State Gazette. I call the meeting to order to discuss bonds from 2013 and 2018. After an audio conference with Whip Maloney, Senior Vice President of Piper Sandler and Company out of Nashville, and listening to recommendations that moving the city's bond funds from a variable rate to a fixed rate would have a potential savings of $428,643. Mr. Maloney noted the rates would be locked in with a call date of 2031. Mayor Holden motioned to refinance these bonds contingent on research of the 2018 bond by Piper Sandler and Company. Alderman Moody seconded the motion. All voted in favor.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve us going forward with this.
So moved.
Motion from James Baltimore, second. Second from Coach Cole. Any questions?
Have we gotten research back on that 2018?
No, sir, not yet. Soon as we get it, I don't think we have. Steve, we got anything?
I gave him all the information that he asked for that afternoon, so he's got everything he needs, but I
Okay.
haven't heard back from him.
Okay, yeah, as soon as we get it, we'll let you know.
Steve, you said we've used Whip Maloney before with Piper Sandler, and everything's been satisfactory with him. Okay.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
So right now, we're on variable rate, which means when the rates go up, we pay more. Rates go down, we pay less. And right now, rates are at an all-time high, right?
Higher than what we've been paying. We've been paying less than 1%, I think, over a period of a number of years, so that's why we're doing this. Yes, ma'am.
And then the fixed rate, what would that be?
What did Whit say, about 3%?
A little less than 3%.
A little less than 3% for a fixed rate?
That's what it will, that mean, that's not the amount we'll save, that's the amount of the interest rate.
Right. Any other questions?
If you decide to go back the other way, how long would you have to stay with the fixed rate?
I'm gonna defer to Steve Anderson.
I don't think this 2031 is the call date, so you'll be locked in until at least 2031. But at 2.79%, it's probably, if it gets lower than that.
On the variable rate, what's the variable rate right now? I'm sorry. And I'm sorry that I wasn't able to be there, and ask my questions then, I'm sorry.
The variable rate, since January of 2023, the average is 3.22%. Last month, we paid 4.31%, so it's higher right now than than the average has been over the last year. So, and of course, we have no idea going forward if it's gonna stay that high or come back down or go up. But as of last month, it was 4.31.
It's 4.31 last month,
Yes.
the average has been what?
3.22 over the last year, a little over a year.
Yeah.
But previously to that, we had variable rates that were percent or below with all this.
For years, they've been 1 to 2%, even less than 1% at times, but over the last year or so, it's crept back up.
Steve, you said you thought this was the route to go also, personally, did you?
Personally, I do. Yes, sir.
All right, any other questions? Have motion and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Thanks, Steve. Next on the agenda, bids, Greg Williams. There was one bid, I think that's the roof at Bruce Activity Center. Replace roof section on rear area of gym at Bruce Recreation Center. It was a budgeted amount that we approved in the budget, $140,000. Two bids received. Lowest bid, $118,464. So we don't have to vote on it. It was already in the budget, but it came in under the budgeted amount. So any questions about that? All right, report from Alderman. Mr. Baltimore?
I wanted to ask about the pothole risers. I mean, street risers on the street. You know, we paid a lot of streets, but they left the risers down. And it's almost like a pothole. You run it when you're going down the street. You hitting those areas.
I think the risers raise it up to the level of the street.
Are y'all gonna raise them up?
No, yeah, when we done the paving last year, the riser, it's the manholes you're talking
Oh,
about.
yeah,
So, Mike ordered those and I think he just got them.
Oh, has it?
Been like 6 months waiting on them.
Noticed a couple on Upper Finley Road that kind of, like you're talking
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
they're gonna fix those, so.
Yeah.
Yes, they will go back.
Because a lot of them are real deep.
Raise them up, make them flush.
When are they gonna start paving again? I go to McDonald's and see.
I'm gonna say probably be 1st of April before the plant opens, end of March, 1st of April.
All right, anything else?
We used to do a lot of sewer work, I hope they open soon.
Are they? Okay. Thank you.
All right, Edward?
I just thank Tiffany and Steve Anderson both for all the work they do
Yeah, I
for the
was gonna
city.
say something like that. Yeah.
Okay, Coach Cole? Rick? Ricky?
Beautiful job.
Mayor, can we schedule a recreation meeting in the near future, just for an update?
Yes, sir. Sure will.
Things, especially our soccer complex. I know I've talked to Patrick, and there's some things that's, we've got scheduled, just let everybody get up to date on that.
We will.
Thank you. I'm good.
Joey?
Real quick, and this probably should have been asked on previous, but with all the expansions and things, are we doing any kind of traffic study or anything to make sure we're able to keep that under control? I know when we start adding things of that nature, so just wanted to, because we're kind of, every once in a while you hear it's taking so long to get here to A to B and this, that, and the other, so.
That will be part of the update to our long-range transportation plan. Part of that is evaluating the traffic counts that are available from TDOT, and then looking at where, commercial areas are building and adding new things, and then trying to assess the level of service of all of our existing roads. So, there is enough money in that grant for the long-range transportation plan to really take a look at, what our level of service is for all of our roads, and then give a plan for how we expand or build new, and then submit all those projects to TDOT so that maybe they're eligible for funding moving forward. So, yes, a wholesale traffic study of the whole city really is part of that plan.
Right, thank you.
Would it be TDOT's call?
No,
A question we get asked a lot at planning commission is when we introduce a new business or company that's coming in, is that gonna increase the traffic? There's a lot of traffic out there. Well,
There's already a lot of traffic out
well, these businesses are coming in are banking on it. That's why they're coming. So
which is a good thing. I'm
you're
not,
never gonna get a
Yeah.
BW without it,
And TDOT will have with the long-range transportation plan, just because this is funded by TDOT, that doesn't mean that they get to decide what that plan looks like or what it says. So that's good. It will be our long-range transportation plan. There's some criteria that we'll have to utilize, that's TDOT's, they'll want you to look at certain things, but what that plan looks like will be completely ours.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
Dennis?
no report.
Vanetta?
No report.
Let me say just a couple things. I forgot to thank Steve and the staff at City Hall when Chloe was here for the good job with the audit. It's always good to hear a good audit and clean audit. So Steve and your crew, man, I appreciate you and what you do for the city and watching everything that we do. Also, that goes to Scott and Tiffany and the work they do with all these grants. You would not imagine the amount of paperwork that's involved in these grants, and man, it's incredible. But anyway, they do a good job managing all that, and I'm very appreciative of that. You talk about traffic and business and stuff. I just got so keep up with sales tax collections, and I know we're running long here. I appreciate you letting me indulge you with this. Our sales tax collections, help fund the city, county, schools, and the city of Dyersburg general budget. So our sales tax collections have increased every year since, the past 10 years. The city of Dyersburg sales tax collections have increased every year, which is just really great. And last year, we finished at $16 million sales tax collections in the city of Dyersburg. So there's 4 collection points in Dyer County. City of Dyersburg is one, City of New Bern is one, City of Trimble is one, and then Dyer County is one. So Dyer County, for instance, averages about $1.5 million a year in sales tax collections. New Bern's about 1.5, 1.6 a year, and Trimble's 100,000 a year, something like that, 88,000, 100,000. But last year we had a record sales tax collections, first time we ever exceeded $16 million in the city of Dyersburg, which really helps us all, the schools and all of us here locally. So there's a 2-month lag when you get those sales tax reports. So I just got it today, which was for December. Previous to the report I got today, our largest sales tax collections ever in a month was $1.6 million, 1.5 something. Today I got that report, and our sales tax collections that came today from Nancy, we were almost $2 million in sales tax collections for the month of December, 1.9 something. So, you know, man, we promote our community, we business friendly, and we're doing things to improve our quality of life here and make people want to come to Dyersburg. So that is a measure of what we do and how we treat people in planning commission and things like that. So I just want to make you all aware of that. We publish that every month on our Facebook page. I hope y'all see that. But since we're talking about business and traffic and stuff, I just want to throw that out there. Ricky?
Sales tax up, crime down. We're pretty blessed.
Amen, brother. Sure enough. Anything else?
I want to say this, Mayor. We have some good employees. They really work hard at it, and we really need to appreciate them.
Sure. Sure do. Anything else? We're adjourned. Thank you.